In last week's episode of Heart of Poland, we had the incredible opportunity to speak to Marek Ostrowski, the nephew of Witold Pilecki, about the exact moment that Witold Pilecki was captured by the Germans and actually witnessed by Marek. Now, I couldn't let the occasion get away without having a chat with Jack Fairweather, the author who put me in touch with Marek Ostrowski about his book about Pilecki, The Volunteer. The book's been making waves and has been recognised on news channels and radios all around the world. We're going to speak to Jack about the reaction to the book and his work to promote the incredible story of Witold Pilecki. So I am here with the aforementioned Jack Fairweather. Hello, Jack.
Hi, Pat.
Welcome to Poland. You've come on a flying visit.
Yes, I have, yeah.
The book has come out, how many months now? It seems gone by so quickly.
5 months, yeah.
5 months. It has gone by quickly, hasn't it? How has the reaction been to the book?
Oh, it's been, a real dream to have Pilecki's name, the book, appear across the media in the US, in the UK. The book's been really well received. It's reaching a readership,
haven't you? You and the book and the story have been everywhere. Every single newspaper, all the radio stations. My mum says, "Oh, it's Jack Fairweather again." You can't get away from you.
I'm on book tour right now across the States, and the reviews are following me everywhere. And I'm introducing Pilecki's name to lots of people who have never heard of him or of the Polish underground before.
The story seems universal. It tells us a lot about us as people and how we can live our daily lives. So how do people react to this story? Because it's not known in the US, is it? This is the first time really that the story of this great hero has travelled really outside of Poland.
I was just giving a talk in St. Louis, Missouri, and I asked the audience, it was 300 folk there, I said, how many of you have heard of Witold Pilecki before? No one. And I gave my talk, and at the end people were overcome, saying, how did we not know about this guy? How could I not know about this role of the Poland played during the war? And let me buy the book.
So I feel like a small medal should have been pinned on your chest some time ago. Well, presumably you've also got a lot of thanks and gratitude from people in Poland for having done this, because really this is the first time the story's got there.
Well, the book has not come out yet in Poland, so that's so hopefully next year, next May, I can show it to everyone here.
I think this is an exclusive for Heart of Poland, isn't it, Jack? That you're
yes.
giving this is an exclusive reveal. The book will be out in May in Polish. Title already picked?
The Volunteer. It has to be.
The Volunteer. There's still time to put acknowledgement and thanks to Mr. Patrick Ney for all my. We'll have to edit this out of the film. I think we'll keep it. But seriously, how's the reaction been? Indeed, from the Pilecki family, you were here. I saw you in the summer, actually showing the results of your work to the family. There was an event in Berlin, I think, as well with the family. So how have they reacted to this coming out really internationally?
Well, I think for the family, Pilecki's story was hidden from both them, from Poland for so many years. Built into Pilecki's story is his attempt to inform the world about what was happening in Auschwitz. It's a message I've really felt compelled to have to share through the research, through 5 years of following in his footsteps. So I get to meet Andre, and I've told him that the book's being translated into 12 languages. It's won an award. There's all these crowds coming to hear about his father's story across the States, and finally Pilecki's message about the horrors of Auschwitz is reaching a wider audience. And Andre's the most amazing, incredible man who has supported me throughout the writing of the book, as has his sister Zofia, and he shakes me by the hand and we have a hug, and it means the absolute world to me. I wouldn't have been able to write the book without his and Zofia's support.
Imagine the emotions must be just so high because it's taken so long, and yet now it's finally happening. I did once quiz you about films and whether there might one day be a film about this incredible subject. Can you enlighten our viewers about that particular subject?
we were sort of in talks to try and make that happen, but I think everyone.
Yeah, exactly. No, almost exclusive. But it's so important to Polish people that this story gets known, isn't it? I think it's like this national thing. We all agree this needs to be it needs to be a film. It is a book now, thanks to you, but it needs to be a film.
I think it's important for Polish people, of course. It's also, we need this story now. I think it's important for the world to recognise Pilecki's work in the camp. I think there's something about his story, about his act of volunteering that can inspire us all today when we think about uncertain times to be brave, to be courageous, and of course, as Pilecki did, trust others, that there will be others who will join you in your battles against evil.
One of the things that Pilecki was trusting during his time in Auschwitz was that his message would be heard, that indeed people would start to take notice of Auschwitz, the things he couldn't even quite understand himself, even being there, because nothing like that had ever been seen before. He had trouble describing it, something he comes across strongly in the book. I wonder how have people in America and other places reacted when they've heard that indeed the Allies did know relatively early on that something really bad was happening here, and ignored, didn't respond, treated the request to bomb the camp or do something about it effectively indifferently.
I think I've had readers come up to me and said, I've never been so angry in my life seeing the indifference of the Allies to Pilecki's requests. I've had others who have said, well, you paint the picture of how complicated the decision was for the Allies. They were under attack themselves, they were trying to win the war against Hitler. I think what does come across to every reader is the fact that Pilecki incredibly got his message out of the camp. It's one of those tragedies of his story that he died believing that he had failed to deliver his message to the Allies, and I think what I got to show in the book is that wasn't the case at all. Pilecki succeeded beyond anything he could have imagined at the start of his mission in telling the world about Auschwitz, and the failure to take action doesn't lie with him, it lies in the West.
So Jack, one thing that's always interested me is what happens to an author after they write the book. So obviously you're on the tour, presumably you're living from one hotel room to another in a slight daze, repeating yourself endlessly and these kind of things. Has your perspective on this story changed at all over the last few months, or have you given yourself some space away from the Pilecki story?
It has changed a lot, because one thing that writing the book meant was I spent a lot of time focused on the story, on the writing, and not a huge amount of time on family life. So those are some words that Pilecki wrote towards the end of his time as a free man, just before his capture by the communists, that I remember reading at the time thinking, wow, that's a pretty incredible sentiment. They are that he recalled sitting in the camp with friends who were about to be executed the next day, and they all had the same reflection, that they wish they'd given more of themselves to those around them, that they'd given more love in their lives. And when I read those words in the middle of research, I was like, wow, that's a very powerful sentiment, but I better get back to writing. But now the book is complete, I sort of feel like that is Pilecki's message to us all, to try and do more. So I'm engaging with family life, with my community, and engaging with the world, trying to spread that message.
Well, I think, frankly speaking, you thoroughly deserve that after what is truly an epic piece of work, and on behalf of Poland, of course, I thank you again. I just wonder whether maybe one day someone will pin something on Jack's jacket. Maybe Jack will have a better jacket for that particular occasion, I'm sure he will.
Excuse me.
Thank you very much for joining us for this episode of Heart of Poland, and we look forward to seeing, obviously, the Polish language version come out, which is in May next year in 2020. Yes. So you heard it here first on the Heart of Poland programme. If you like this discussion with Jack, then make sure you check out the fascinating story we have from last week's episode, where we go with Jack and Witold Pilecki's nephew, Marek Ostrowski, to the very flat, to the very moment where Witold Pilecki was captured, allowed himself to be captured and then sent on to Auschwitz. And you can also check out the fascinating discussions we have with other authors, experts and historians about the incredible country of Poland. So I will see you again for the next episode of Heart of Poland.